Hello everyone, this is Savita Acharya from Canara Engineering College. In this video lecture, we look into a few exercise problems of Module 4, that is Behavioral Modeling. First question, declare a register called oscillate, initialize it to 0 and make it toggle every 30 time units. Do not use always statement. A hint is also given, use the forever loop. So we will start writing the module. This is something similar to what we have written the stimulus module. So module, let me take it as a test. Okay. In this you are required to declare a register oscillate. That is what is given here, register oscillate. Initialize it to 0. So initialization to be done inside the initial block. Initialized oscillate to 0. Oscillate equal to 1 tick B 0. Now make it toggle every 30 time units, use forever loop. So forever hash 30 toggle. So this is the same thing what we used to do to generate the train of clock pulses. Oscillate equal to naught of oscillate. Okay. End module. Second question, design a clock with a time period equal to 40 and a duty cycle of 25% by using the always and initial statements. The value of clock at time equal to 0 should be initialized to 0. So before going to write the program, we will see the clock. So the time period of the clock is 40. Okay, time period of the clock is 40 time units. Okay, so duty cycle is 25%. So what do you mean by duty cycle? Duty cycle is nothing but on period by total period, that is on plus off. Okay, so total cycle period is 40. So to get 25% duty cycle, the on period should be 10. So this gives you 25%. So out of the total time period, on period should be 10 and off period should be 30. Okay. So your waveform should be, the clock waveform should be on period by off period. That is, this is 10 and this should be 30 time units. Total period is 40 time units, right? So we'll proceed to write the program. Say module, say test. I will declare clock as a register, and initially the value of the clock should be 0, initialized to 0. So I will have a initial block wherein I will initialize clock to 0, clock equal to 1 tick B 0. So actually I can skip this begin and end statement because there is only one statement inside this initial block. So I can directly write clock equal to 1 tick B 0. Now I will use a always statement to generate the clock. Earlier we have used forever. Now I will use the always statement. So since the clock is 0, say at time t equal to 0, the clock is 0. So what I will do is, after a period of 30 time units, clock equal to naught of clock. So what this line will do is, so initially I have at time t equal to 0, I have made clock equal to 0. So how long this clock should be equal to 0? for 30 time units. See here, off period is 30 time units. So till 30 time units, the clock should be equal to 0. Okay, and then after 30 I am saying toggle the clock. That means at 30 time units from 0 it will become 1. So how long it should be retained at 1? It should be 1 for 10 time units. So again after 10 time units I will say clock equal to not of clock. Okay. So here from 30 another 10 time units, that is when the time unit is 40, the clock will be toggled, that is it will become um, 0. Okay, this will continue. So always for another 30 it will be off, for another 10 it will be on. So this generates a clock with the 25% duty cycle. I'll put these two statements inside begin and end. Finally, end module. Next question. Given below is an initial block with blocking procedural assignments. At what simulation time is each statement executed? What are the intermediate and final values of A, B, C and D? So here this is the initial block. So I hope you know what are blocking procedural assignments. Blocking procedural assignments means the statements will be executed inside the block with the blocking procedural assignments. The statements will be executed in the sequential order in which they are written. So the next statement will be executed only after its previous statement has completed execution. So this line will be executed at time t equal to 0, this one at 10, this one at 10 plus 5 that is 15, and this line at 15 plus 20 that is at 35 time units. So we'll see the intermediate values at each time. Say at time t equal to 0, what will happen is time t equal to 0, A will be initialized to 0. So B is unknown, C is unknown and D is also unknown. Okay. At time t equal to 10, 5, at time t equal to 10, A was 0 initially, then now B will become equal to 1 because of this statement, okay. C is unknown and D is also unknown. Next at 10 plus, the third line will be executed at 15 time units because 10 plus 5. So here A was 0, B 1 and now C will become equal to 0. C will become equal to 0. D is unknown. Lastly, at t equal to 15 plus 20. So earlier time was at 15. This is after 20 time units. 15 plus 20 that is at 35. A0, B1, C0 and D is concatenation of A, B and C, that is D will be equal to 0, 1, 0. That is 3 tick B 0, 1, 0. Okay, so here it is XXX. Question number 4. Repeat exercise 3 if non-blocking procedural assignments were used. So I have repeated the same piece of code with the blocking assignment replaced by non-blocking assignment. So non-blocking assignment means it does not wait for the previous statement to be executed. The statements will be executed concurrently and the sequence will be decided by the delay associated with those statements. So here as per this statement, this first line will be executed at time t equal to 0 and after 5 time units this will be executed, that is C equal to 0, and after 10 time units this second line will be executed, B equal to 1, and after 20 time units D will be executed as concatenation of A, B and C. So we'll see that. So here as per the order at time t equal to 0, A will be equal to 0, B is unknown, C is unknown and D is also unknown. Next possible time is t at 5, t equal to 5, a will be 0, b will not be still unknown because b will be assigned after 10 time units, c is 0 and d is unknown. Next time is at time t equal to 10, that is this statement. At time t equal to 10, a equal to 0, b will now become equal to 1, c equal to 0 and d is unknown. Next time that comes in the sequential order is time at after 20 time unit, that is this line. Now a is 0, b 1, c 0 and d will be 0 1 0, that is concatenation of a b c. Question number 5. What is the order of execution of statements in the following Verilog code? Is there any ambiguity in the order of execution? What are the final values of A, B, C, D? Initial begin A equal to 0, hash 0 C equal to B, end. There is another initial block that is B equal to 1, hash 0, D equal to A. As we know by the property of the initial statement, the initial statements, any number of statements, initial statements you have in a program, they will be starting execution at time t equal to 0. So as per that, both these initial blocks will be starting execution at time t equal to 0. Okay. But inside each initial block, there is one statement with the zero delay control. Zero delay control is this, that is hash 0 c equal to b and here hash 0 d equal to a. The property of zero delay control statement is they will be executed last. Actually, as per the, if you look at the statements inside this initial block, there is no delay associated. So, all the statements will be executed at time t equal to 0. But there are two statements in each block, one in each block, having a zero delay control, that is by hash 0. Okay. This means these statements will be executed in the respective blocks at last. Okay. So we can write the output for this statement. There is no ambiguity as such. So at the final value, the final value will be the value of, so A is 0 and B is 1. So the final value of C will be equal to B, that is 1, and final value of D will be equal to A, that is 0. Okay. Next question. What is the final value of D in the following example? Hint is given, see intra-assignment delays. So this is an interesting question. So here you have two initial blocks. In one initial block we are initializing at time t equal to 0, B as 1 and C as 0. And again after a delay of 10 time units we again assign 0 to B. In the next initial block we have D equal to hash 25, B or C. Okay, so we'll see what are the values of these at every time. Say at time t equal to 0, say at time t equal to 0, b is equal to 1, say b is equal to 1 here and c is equal to 0, c is equal to 0 and d is being assigned after 25. So d is this thing not unknown. Okay. Next at time t equal to 10. Next time is 10. Now b is initialized assigned 0. So now b will become 0. C is 0 only as per the previous. D is still unknown. Okay. Now next time that simulation assignment happens is at time t equal to 25. B will be 0. We are not changing the value of B. C also will be 0. Now D is nothing but B or C. So if you look at 25, at 25 time units, B is 0, C is 0. So D should be equal to 0. B or C is 0. But this is not the case. Courtesy, the intra-assignment delays. So this is an example of intra-assignment delay. So here you can see a delay which is being assigned at the beginning of the statement, whereas in this the delay is specified after the assignment operator. The meaning of this is at time t equal to 0 only, the values of the right hand side signals are taken and the expression is evaluated. That is at time t equal to 0, b is 1 and c is 0. Okay, c is 0. Okay, so the value of d at time t equal to 0 is 1. But the meaning of intra-assignment delay is the values are taken, read and evaluated at time t equal to 0 only. But the evaluated value is assigned to D at time t equal to 25. So the value is 1 but it is assigned at time t equal to 25. Okay. This is the difference between intra-assignment delay and the normal regular delay. Question number 7. Design a negative edge triggered D flip-flop named as DUFF with the synchronous clear, active high. So active high synchronous clear means when the clear is high, the flip-flop will be clear, and since it is synchronous, the flip-flop will be cleared at the active edge of the clock. So the active edge is negative edge because it's a negative edge triggered flip-flop. Use behavioral statements only. Hint is output of Q of D flip-flop must be declared as register, that you know. Design a clock with a period of 10 time units and test the D flip-flop. Okay. So we'll proceed to write the program. Before that, we'll write the block diagram for this. So the module name is DUFF. Input is one is D and the other one is negative edge triggered, right? So clock, I will take it as CLK. Then clear is CLEAR, clear. Okay. Output is Q. Okay. So I'll proceed to write the program. Module DUFF D clock clear and Q. Input D clock and clear, and Q is output. Q is output, and you have to also declare it as register. Now always add, so this is a negative edge triggered flip-flop, so always add the attribute you have to identify is neg edge of clock. Okay, neg edge of clock. So now inside the always block, first what you have to check is whether the clear is active. So synchronous clear. So that is why it is the highest priority signal is the clock. So only at the negative edge of the clock it will enter this always block, and the first thing you have to do inside this always block is you have to check if clear is high because it's active high. So clear is high. So in that case Q will be equal to 0, else Q will be equal to D. Okay. This is end and end module. So we will proceed to write the stimulus block for this D flip-flop. So before that I will write down the block diagram of the D flip-flop. The module name is DUFF. The input is D, clock and clear, and output is Q. Okay. So the program module, say DUFF underscore TB, declare D, clock and clear as registers and the output wire as Q as wire. Now I will instantiate DUFF. So let me take it as X1 as the instance name, the order, connection by order, clear and Q. Now first I will generate the train of clock pulses. So begin, in the question it is mentioned that you have to generate a clock of 10 time units. So begin, initially I will initialize a clock to 0 and say I will use this forever statement, forever hash 5 clock equal to naught of clock. So what this will do is, for every 5 time units it will toggle. So at 0 clock is 0, hash 5 means after 5 time units clock will be toggled, after another 5 time units it will be toggled, after another 5 time units it will be toggled, and so on. Okay, so the total time period of the clock, one on period and one off period, will be equal to 10 time units. Okay, this will generate, this initial block will generate the clock. Now we will proceed to write the what is that initial block for applying the clear signal. So initial begin, first I will initialize the clear to 1, that is active high, and say I will make D equal to 1, and later on say after 24 time units, I am giving some random numbers, I will make clear equal to 0. Then another say 100 time units, I will make clear equal to 1 again. D will be 1 throughout, and say after another 120 time units clear will be equal to 0. Okay. Clear will be equal to 0. End module. So we'll see what is the output of this block. So here clock is continuous train of clock pulses, that is with a time period of 10 time units. So this is 5, 10, 15, 20 and so on. Okay. So after 24 time units I am making clear, initially I am initializing clear to 1. That means it is active high. So initially the second statement clear is 1. Okay, till 24. See here 10, 20, 24. Till 24 time units clear is 1, and because of this the flip-flop output will be 0. So output is here. So flip-flop output, this is 0. Okay, this is 0. D is 1 throughout. Okay, next hash 100. So after 100, sorry, hash 24, after 24 time units I am making clear equal to 0. So now at this point clear has become equal to 0, and now the output will be same as equal to D. So D is 1 from 24 time units. After 24 time units, once the clear has become 0, whichever is the active edge of the clock, the clock is negative, active edge of the clock is negative edge. So from this negative edge the output will go to 1. So how long it will go to 1? That is it will follow D. D is 1, that's why I am telling it will go to 1. If D was 0, it would be 0. So it is same as D. So till how long is I have given, after 100 time units I am making clear again equal to 1. 24 plus 100 means after 124. So 100 is here, 110, 120, 110, 120, 124. So after 124 time units I am making again clear equal to 1. So after this the next active edge of the clock is here, negative edge. So from this point onwards the clock output will be 0. So that is again after 120 time units I am making clear equal to 0 again, which is beyond the scope of this screen. Okay. So till 120 time, from 120 time units from now the outputs again will be 0 only. It will not follow D. Okay. So this is how the D flip-flop is to be tested. Question number 8. Design the D flip-flop in exercise 7 with asynchronous clear. So in the previous question we have used synchronous clear. Now we will design the same D flip-flop with negative edge triggered with the asynchronous clear, and it is active high only. D flip-flop clears whenever clear goes high. It does not wait for the next negative edge. This is the meaning of asynchronous clear. In synchronous clear, the clock is having the higher priority. So even though the clear is active, it will only take this is taken into account at the output only at the active edge of the clock, whereas in case of asynchronous clear, it does not wait for the active edge of the clock. As soon as the clear goes high or low, its effect is counted at the output immediately. Okay, so we'll proceed to write the program for this. So the block diagram does not change. Block diagram is same, that is it is having input D, clock, that is a negative edge triggered clock, and clear, and output is Q. Only thing that changes here is how you write the always statement. So module name, the ports clear, comma D, input D, clock and clear, and output D. Also declare this as register. Now always, this line is very important. This decides whether the circuit is synchronous or asynchronous inputs. Okay. So here one thing is clear, that is it is triggered at the negative edge of the clock. So always at negative edge of clock. Or now there is one more thing that triggers this always block, that is clear. So either positive edge of the clock, or there is some event occurring on clear. Either clear becomes 0 from 1 or 1 from 0. Either is treated as an event. So in either case, this always block is to be triggered. Now check if clear is 1, because we are using active high clear. If clear is 1, Q is equal to 0, else Q is equal to D. Sorry, this is not D, it is Q. Okay, end module. Coming to the output of this, the stimulus block will be same as what we have written for the D flip-flop with the synchronous clear. Okay, the stimulus block does not change. So what we have given is, we have generated the clock with the 10 time with the clock period as 10 time units for the previous example as well, and the clear we have initially started with 1, and after 24 time units we have made it 0, and then after 100 time units from 24, that is 100 plus 24, at 124 again we are making it 1, then after 120 time units we are again making it 0, which is not shown here in the waveform. Okay, and D we had maintained at 1 only throughout. Now what changes here is output. So as long as clear is 1, the output will be 0. Okay, once the clear is 0, that means clear becomes inactive. Now the higher priority signal is the clock. Now the flip-flop will be functioning with respect to the clock. So that's why once the clear is 0, next positive edge of the next active edge, that is the negative edge of the clock, is here, and hence from here the output will follow the input. Okay, so as long as clear, the output was 0. Now clear becomes 0 at 24 time units, but the Q will not follow D at 24, because now the D is a synchronous input, so it waits for the active edge of the clock. So next active edge of the clock is here. So from there the Q follows D. D is 1, so Q will be 1. Now next, after 100 time units from 24, that is at 124 again I am making clear equal to 1. Now since this is an asynchronous clear, it will not wait for the active edge of the clock. See, at 124 only, the output will immediately become equal to 0. This is the main difference between synchronous clear and asynchronous clear. Now if it was a synchronous clear, even though the clear had become 1 at 124, the output will become 0 only at the next negative edge of the clock. But here, since it is asynchronous clear, it will not wait for the clock, active edge of the clock. It will become 0, output will become 0, immediately the clear becomes active. Okay, that difference you have to note down. Thank you.